I'm Scott Erickson. We have about 20 acres of land here. It's hilly forested land. Before we ended up having this fire mitigation completed, there was a lot of trees, a lot of downfall. But now since we've had this done, it's opened up the land a lot more. We saw something on the internet, and then I sent my wife down. There was a public meeting, and that's where she got all the information, and we filled out the information to see if we were eligible.
I'm Kane Quenneman. I live in Clancy, Montana. We have, I think it's about 24 acres. I think we maybe got something in our mailbox, and then we're going to have a meeting at the library down here to introduce everybody to the program and talk about it and take questions, and thought it sounded interesting. Wanted to do our part, figured anything that could benefit us and the community.
Capital 360 was a Joint Chiefs project through the Forest Service and NRCS. NRCS cost shares the same rate per acre. We pay a set rate, and then it's up to the landowner to come up with the contractor. So it really allows the landowner to maintain the project, and they get to pick who does the work and how the work is completed.
One is because there was a fire hazard, and the other thing is it just had too many trees. Even after rainstorm, we'd walk up in the meadows, up in the hills, and it was still very dry because the canopy just would not let that rain get down to the ground. I tried to do it myself, and I burned through a couple of chainsaws, and I said, I'm getting too old for this. So I said, we'll just leave it, until we get a better deal or a better plan, and then this plan came along and just fit our needs. It's one thing in cutting a tree, but the second part is getting rid of the brush and getting that tree out. I mean, you got to have logging equipment because some of these trees were very tall. I couldn't have done it without this contract.
A field break spaces out the crown of the trees so that it would be knocked down to the ground and be ground fire instead of a crown fire. And when you have the crown fire, there's really no way to fight that. A lot of times firefighters just kind of have to get out of the way and do what they can to protect properties and high valuable assets. But they can't really stop a crown fire, whereas a ground fire, if they can get it down on the ground, it's easier to fight.
The main road into this subdivision is right out here. There's not much else in the way of access or escape if there was a fire, so it's kind of important that this road be open. This program served that purpose.
It was very easy for us to go through this process. We met Nate Matson, and he went over the contract with us and explained what we could do and what we couldn't do, what the requirements were.
I got a list of contractors. That would have taken me days to put that together. Got a few recommendations. They were careful not to show any preference or anything like that, but they were helpful. As a taxpayer, even I look at it and I feel really good about the program. The program couldn't have been designed or laid out any better. It was just perfect.
We're allowing access for the Forest Service or state lands to fight a wildfire and protect infrastructure that may otherwise be burned in a fire and cost a lot of money for the firefighters to fight or for the landowners to repair. It's amazing to see the release that a lot of these trees have after we thin them out, and they're able to get more access to water and sunlight. You may see the rings growing really close together for an extended period of time, and then if you can go back to a property that you treated 10 years ago, those rings really spanned out because they're collecting more resources and growing faster.
It's just nice knowing that it's less flammable, and it opened things up a little bit. Our driveway used to be frozen. We used to have 4 inches of ice on the driveway all winter, and this winter it thaws out because we get a little more sunshine in there.
Just the views alone from the front deck and the back deck. And the other thing that we've noticed in the last couple of weeks, we've seen a lot more wildlife, elk and deer coming through here. So I think the moisture is just making this grass grow that didn't grow before, so it's attracting the animals. My wife planted this garden 2 weeks ago, and there were 6 or 7 bull elk walking around here. And she was so excited until she got up in the morning and had gotten into the garden and ate most of her flowers. Just a couple days ago, there was a big bull elk laying down against this rock here. We wouldn't have seen that had it not been for this.
I think it's worth utilizing resources on projects like this rather than spending government money to fight fire after a wildfire starts.
So the benefit really has been to all of our neighbors, not just to us. If a fire starts, I think we're going to be pretty safe here.